Hello again, and welcome to Session 3. During our previous session, we saw some of the challenges that can emerge when a team begins to translate the Bible. In this next episode, we'll begin to see some of the ways we can prepare for the work of Bible translation. Before you watch the next episode of the Tano Story, let me ask you a question. Can you think of a time that you or someone you know started to work on a large project without considering what might be needed to complete it? What happened? Pause the video and take a few minutes to discuss or reflect on what happened and what might have been learned from the experience. And once you've finished writing down your thoughts or discussing them with your group, press play and continue with episode 3 of the Tano Story.
Church leaders from the region of Mai had arrived in Tano and spent that evening getting to know one another, sharing stories, and discussing what they had learned about translating the Bible into their own language. The next morning, the Mai opened a trade language Bible and shared a question Jesus asked in the Gospel of Luke. Who of you, wanting to build a tower, does not first sit down and calculate the cost? The Tano listened carefully, but had difficulty understanding words like tower and calculate, as these were not things that they talked about in their language. Yet after discussing the meaning, they began to understand. This teaching is wise. It's like when we build homes and we think about how many things are needed to complete the project. Yes, and we would be wise to apply this wisdom to Bible translation. It is a big task that will require much time and effort. We must plan carefully. Let's start with an important question. Who? Who? Yes, who will do the work of translation? We thought this was our task as church leaders. It is good that you take responsibility, but the work will be stronger if you involve the community. A team with different skills will strengthen the translation. Think about who knows the trade language well. Who speaks your language best? Who are the best storytellers? Who are your respected elders? Who can represent different generations and skills? A team like this will help make sure the translation is trustworthy, easy to understand, appropriate for your culture, and in a style that sounds good to your people. The Mai shared more about their own process. They built a translation team that focused on creating a trustworthy first draft that faithfully carried the meaning from one language to another. This draft was then shared with the church and wider community to check if the translation was understandable, appropriate, and of good quality that sounded good to the Mai people. Church leaders commented on the translation and helped the team make changes to improve the translation. The Tano leaders thought about this and began to think of people who could join their team. They joked, "It sounds like you want the whole Tano community to help with this translation." Yes, that is exactly what we hope for. Involving the community will both improve the translation and strengthen the church. If you have some people in mind, let's go and speak to them today. By the end of the day, many from the community had joined the project. They felt honored and excited to help. That evening, they all shared a meal and thanked God for stirring hearts so quickly. The Mai leaders were impressed, as their own team-building process had taken much longer. The next morning, the Mai met with the Tano translation team. They told stories of the many challenges they faced while translating the Bible into their own language. They also shared how enduring those challenges and advancing the work had strengthened the faith of the church. This knowledge helped to equip the Tano for the work ahead. They took time to pray for one another and the work ahead of them. One of the Mai then introduced a question. Who are you translating for? For the Tano people, of course. Yes, but think more carefully. What are their needs? Tell us about the young, the old, and everyone in between. Do they read? Do they use sign language? Would they prefer written text or audio recordings? Maybe both. How will you share the translation when it is ready? Answering questions like this will help you to see clearly how to make good translation decisions for your people. You'll also need to consider what tools you will use to do the translation. What do you already possess? We have some basics like paper and pencils, and some here have mobile devices. That's great. You already have some good tools that will help you access helpful resources for translation. We have been blessed by the help of brothers and sisters around the world who have helped us to learn and grow. They may also be able to help you with resources and training. For now, we will work with what you have. The Mai spent time that day showing the Tano how to access translation resources with the mobile devices they already had. After 2 days, the Tano reflected. We are so thankful for the time we've spent together. We have learned much and look forward to what is next. In translating just one verse, applying what it said, and sharing it with the community, the Tano had begun to understand the size of the task of translating the Bible into their own language, the value of careful planning, and the importance of involving the community in the process. Working this way strengthened the Tano translation and the Tano's faith.
Welcome back. In this episode, the Mai suggested that starting a Bible translation project is a significant effort that requires planning. If you start without a team, clear direction, or a plan, you're unlikely to succeed. Let's consider 3 critical things that, if considered early, can strengthen your translation work. First is the team. Who is actually going to do the work? The plan. What's our roadmap? And the framework. How do we actually do it? Let's start with the team. Bible translation is not something for one person to do alone. It's done by a team. The translation team works together to create drafts, receive feedback, and prepare the final translation. The team is often comprised of diverse individuals with differing and unique skills. Consider people who speak the language well or tell great stories. Also consider people from different age groups and different walks of life. In addition to the translation team, others in the wider community will have a part to play. Church leaders guide the work. They help with problems and encourage unity. Church leaders can also help check accuracy, while people from the local language community can check the translation sounds clear and natural. Once the team is formed, they work together to make their plan. Now, this plan will need to consider a variety of practical considerations. When, where, and how will we go about working on the translation? What resources do we have or need? What is the scope of our work? See, each team will need to address the practical needs of their unique context. In addition to the practical needs, every team should develop a translation brief. Now, the translation brief is a guiding document created by the translation team before the work begins. It explains who the translation is for and how it should sound. The brief helps the team agree on important choices, such as whether it's meant to be read or listened to, what words should or should not be used, and what kind of language best fits the people who will use it. Making these kinds of decisions early helps the team stay united and handle challenges as the work progresses. You can find more information in a translation brief template in the course syllabus. With a team and a plan, it's time to begin translating. While many translation processes exist, they draw from a common or a similar framework, which can be visualized as a wheel. As you can see, the framework consists of 3 important parts: understand, translate, and check. Understand. We start by using the best tools and resources available to understand the source text. The goal at this point is to understand exactly what the author meant when they were communicating to the original audience. Only when we understand the original meaning can we move on to translate. So, translate. When we translate, we draft the original meaning into our language, being careful that we do not add, remove, or change the meaning of the message. When we're confident that we have a good draft, we can check the work. When we check, we test the translation with our team and our community to ensure it is accurately relaying the original meaning. clearly in our own language. This process often raises new questions or improvements to the draft that lead to greater understanding and updated translation drafts for further checking until there is consensus that the translation should be approved and utilized in the church. We will discuss this framework and each of its parts in greater detail in later sessions. Before we move on to the next session, take a moment to discuss these questions with your group or journal your thoughts.